Excellent. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Stevie Aquilina, and I'm a Platinum Executive with ASEA in Sydney, Australia. It is my great honour to invite you here this evening because we have a guest of honour that you are going to be extremely impressed by. I'm very delighted to call this man my million-dollar mentor, and I have known of him for a long time, and I'm very pleased to be able to be working very closely with him now in this organisation. But tonight we're joined by Malcolm Sword, and he is an ambassador, a double diamond in Queensland, near Brisbane. He is a member of the $1 Million Earners Club with ASEA. He has over 35 years experience in sales and network marketing. His experience in building organizations has been an experience of building organizations in the tens of thousands. Maybe you have heard a story from him before that he's built these organizations. One of them crumbled and then he did it all over again. And he's back doing it again with ASEA and breaking absolute records. He, I don't think just has one of the fastest growing teams in Australia. He probably has the fastest growing team in Australia, and I dare say the world as well in ASEA. He's an entrepreneur, he's a speaker, he's a business coach, and he's a father of
lots.
5 rabbits?
8.
8, sorry. Whoa, 8?
Well, 4 of them are kind of big hares now, but 4 little ones and 4 big ones, so 8.
Wow. All right. And a global...
Really grey hairs, Stevie.
and a global philanthropist as well. Now not just making a difference with this incredible transformational technology that we have with ASEA, but actually going to countries like Africa and making a huge difference. In villages that really need that. So and also this gentleman you're going to hear from this evening is a master of the secrets of Think and Grow Rich. And that's why I finally call him the Sword Master. So Mr. Sword, I'm so very glad that you've joined us this evening. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for a great introduction. And often I listen to introductions from people, and I'm kind of humbled that my work in Africa is actually very modest so far, but I intend for it to be a lot more significant. So one of my plans, my mischievous plans with the ASEA business, is to help lots and lots of people go diamond and double diamond and triple diamond, so that I can free some of their money to go and do greater work in Africa. So I make no secret of that. Some of the incomes that some of ASEA associates will earn, they don't need all that money, but they do in Africa and other places. So I'm happy to do what I can to, spearhead some of the changes in Africa, in Tanzania, as a matter of fact. So 4 of us are off in a couple of weeks. But let me just, what I thought we'd do this evening is I want to just share some thoughts with everyone and of the industry, of building the industry. And I want to say up front that I'm really no different from many of you on the call. I'm still learning. I'm not on this webinar professing I have all the answers. I don't. I'm still learning. I'm 27 years in, and I still learn about the business. I still learn about the craft of developing organizations. And I think there's a message in that we don't stop growing, we don't stop learning. Interestingly enough, Stevie, on Saturday, my ex-wife, Christina, told me about a week ago, she said, you need to be home at 1:30 on Saturday afternoon. And she said, I got a surprise for you. And, I was thinking, oh, that's nice. I wonder what the surprise was. And then about an hour before the surprise, or before 1:30, she said, you really need to be here, and because you've got a Zoom call and with somebody. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, that's great. Who would that be? I first of all thought it might have been my best mate in England. I've known since I was like 4. And Jamie, I thought it might have been him. And then I thought, oh, maybe she's gone and organised a Zoom with Tyler or something like that. And anyway, I got on the Zoom, and it was Richard Bliss Brooke, the author of Your 4-Year Career and Mac 2 with Your Hair on Fire. And I had a really good, probably 30, 40 minutes with him. And it was just incredible have a conversation with somebody like Richard. You know, I'm a 27-year veteran in the industry. Well, he's a 40-year veteran. And I listened to a podcast the other day from somebody, a gentleman, I think his name is Simon Chen. It wasn't Simon Chen. It was another one of Richard Blissbrook's podcasts. And this man was a 50-year veteran. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm actually just getting started, really. You know, somebody who's 50 years in the industry, I'm still learning. I'm actually hoping I'm trying to set up another call with him, and I'm hoping to do a leaders training with him, with Richard Blissbrook. So I'll get him on, and I'll see if I can have him on as do a leaders training webinar for us. So I'll invite some of the leaders onto that. So that'll be interesting. So let me kind of start with some of the principles, if I can, of what it takes to build a large organization, a large ASEA business. And I'm going to assume that the people on this call this evening, you know, you're here for many reasons. Many of you are here to find out, okay, what can I do better? What can I do faster? How can I grow my organization faster? And let me just start from that point, and that is, your organizations will always be a reflection of who you are. And so when people say to me, I want my organization to grow faster, then the point of that is, well, then if you grow you faster. The whole business of building organizations like this is really about personal development. Most of this is a personal development business, and we wrap it around an ASEA business, but your organization will reflect who you are. And it will be a mirror image of your thinking, of your thoughts. There are principles involved here. Big thinkers attract big thinkers. Little thinkers tend to attract little thinkers. Misery loves company, birds of a feather. Those are all sayings and statements that are factual, and that we will attract who we are. We will look at our organizations, and it will be a mirror image of who we are. And so if we want our organizations to grow faster, and I do, if we want our organizations to be larger, and I do, and I'm going to assume that many of you in this call do as well, then I always look to me. I don't look to anybody else to do that. I always look to the change that I can make in me. You know, who can I become? How can I become better? How can I become a better leader? How can I become a better coach? How can I become a better teacher? How can I become a better student? How can I learn more? How can I develop me more? How can I become more? And because the more value I give to the market, the more value the market gives to me, if that makes sense. So the market deems our income. I don't deem my income. The market deems what we're worth, good and bad. And so if you're earning a lot of money, the market deems that you, especially in a business like ours, the market deems that we're worth that, or we're worth, you know, wherever we're up to. And so, you know, if you want more, James Rohn used to say this constantly, you know, if you want more, become more. And it's a discipline. I was listening to James Rohn a little while ago, one of the many podcasts I've listened to of Jim Rohn. He's one of my favorite all-time speakers. He's able to teach with humor and humility, but with great substance, great impact at the same time, with great humility, and very easy to listen to. He's a sort of man you can listen to hours and hours on end. I never get tired of hearing him. And he says on one of his podcasts, he said, why is it that a millionaire can be on stage and share with the group of people that there's a book that he read that helped him become a millionaire? And why is it then that people in the audience don't read the book? And it's kind of one of life's mysteries, that most people that have successful lives leave very clear footprints. They leave very clear instructions. And yet most people don't want to follow those instructions. I think people kind of think that you know, there's another route for them up the mountain, or another path, another way that they can become successful without changing, and that would be because of luck. Well, it really doesn't come down to that. There's a great saying that if you're going through a minefield, and somebody else, you can see somebody else's footprints wandering through the minefield before you, and they're not blown to pieces, they're a pretty good idea if you followed their footprints. And it's exactly the same with a business like ours. Most of the big leaders with ASEA or in this industry leave very clear footprints. Success always leaves footprints for those that are looking. And those that are looking are those that are teachable. And, you know, there's a great saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And there is a point of learning. There is a point of changing who we are to have what we want. You know, there's an old saying that you won't change your lot in life with the same thinking you won't change your lot in life with the same thinking that create the problems that you have. You won't get out of the situation with that same thinking. And most of you on the call know that I'm a huge fan of the Audible books. I listen to the Audible books incessantly. I continue to listen to the Audible books. I've stumbled across Richard Bliss Brooke probably in the last 6 to 9 months. I've listened to Mac 2 with Your Hair on Fire, I don't know, probably 10 times, maybe 12. A 4-year career I got onto recently, I've probably listened to that 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times already. And they give all the secrets away. There's nothing hidden from sight. You can't listen to those over and over and over. And when I'm starting new people today in the business, those are the 2 books that I would encourage people to listen to over and over and over. The keys of the business are there. You know, the 4-year career, and he makes it quite clear that it may not be a 4-year career. It could be a 1-year career. You know, he's seen people that have created a 1-year career. There's a couple I saw in Maui a few weeks ago that have reached Ambassador Diamond in 13 months. 13 months to Ambassador Diamond. And, you know, so it can be a 1-year career. It might even be less than a 1-year career, but, you know, it's your journey and everybody's different. But when I talk to people about creating residual income with our business, I talk about with the SEER that you should be able to hit you should be able to hit a residual income somewhere between 9 months and 3 years in that time zone. And some will do it faster than others because some might need to grow more. It's not a race. The race that you and I have to build in the SEER business is with us. The problem that I have with building an SEER business and moving the SEER business is with me. And so every one of you listening, it's really your own personal journey. Never compare yourself with other people. There's other people in America, for example. I didn't start my journey that quickly. So can you share some of the name of the Audible books? I'll do that. Just come back to me. Maybe just make a note of that, Steve, before I finish. Otherwise, I'll lose my train of thought pretty easily.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll keep an eye on the chat box, and that was going to be one of my questions later anyway.
Do that. I forget where I was going with that. Okay, I've lost my train of thought now. Where was I up to?
We were talking about Richard Bliss Brooke and the secrets in it. And it's not that complicated.
Yeah, well, it's not complicated, but we're complicated, and it really is the essence of change. It's the essence. I know where I was going with that. When I began the journey, you know, I don't want anybody to look at me and think that my journey has been spectacular. Remember, I'm 27 years in, and so I've done a lot of miles. I've learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot. Regarded as a veteran in the industry, but my journey's been my journey. When I started with ASEA in 2016, I was pretty slow in gathering my army together. And the reason that happens, and so some of you might relate to this on the call, that when I started, I came to ASEA very much a wounded warrior. You know, I had lost everything, and I mean everything. And other than my children, I shouldn't say everything, most precious gift I didn't lose, but I lost everything material. I lost everything, my home, my car. And I had a lot of houses at one stage, lost everything. And I came to ASEA with minus $130,000 in the hole behind zero. So I was very much a wounded warrior. Now, with the laws of attraction, with the laws and the way the universe works, that monkeys produce monkeys, if I was a wounded warrior starting my business, who was I going to attract? And so I was likely to attract other wounded warriors. And so there was a few of us. There was me old mate, Big Al, and he and I were kind of doing the best to kind of encourage ourselves and kind of like, well, I think we can do it. I'm pretty sure we can. I hope we can. I hope we can. I think we could. I think we should, Big Al. And so he was kind of a great encourager to me in the early days, and I hope I was with him. But we were kind of both pretty wounded from the industry, and some of you might be also in that category. So we were going to attract who we were. So wounded warriors attract wounded warriors. People that don't think much of themselves will tend to attract people that don't think much of themselves. And so the journey is to lift our vision. When you when you start with a very low opinion, and you start with a lack of belief, and most of us are in that category. Most people, we're emotional creatures. Many of us have, suffered some hits through life, which is why I like to find people that are a little bit older to build a business. Young people haven't had the hits. They haven't dealt with the challenges of life. They haven't dealt with the ups and downs. And I know if you've listened to the, Richard Brooke, he talks about the 2 marshmallows. They give the children, when they're kids, they give one group 1 marshmallow, one marshmallow, and they say, if you don't eat it for half an hour, we'll give you another one. Well, half the group, well, more than half the group, probably 80 or 90% of the group, they can't wait. They eat 1 marshmallow. Because we're an instant society. Everybody wants the results of this now, quickly. And for most people, it doesn't come that quickly. There's a process here, and it is a process. It's not an event. People want to get lucky and find one person, and it doesn't work like that. There's a process of changing you to attract the right people. How long that process takes really depends on how fast you can work on your mind, your subconscious, change your belief system. I happen to believe that anybody, I do believe really, if I can work with somebody who's got a dream, a really powerful, emotional, strong dream, and they are coachable, I believe I could help anybody go to diamond. Now, that's not me, but I can guide them to where the information is that I go to get the information for me that led me out of the wilderness financially to a place of abundance that, to be truthful, 3.5 years ago, I could not have dreamt about. I really could not have dreamt about this. This has been a creation of my mind, and my constantly growing my mind to become more. With that comes the abundance of a business like this, but I didn't start there. And so wherever you're starting from now, and many of you on the call, I hope will relate to this. Some of you are wounded, you've dealt with damage, you deal with fear and doubts about you. And a lot of you would look at somebody like, I don't know, Denny Robinson or Danny Doyle or Bart Cotter or some of the amazing diamonds that we have in the business. And you might look at them and say, well, it's all right for them. I'm not like that. I'm not like them. I don't think I'm as good as them. And that's where we all start. We all have a tendency to diminish ourselves and diminish who we are, diminish our self-worth, and especially those of us that, have had some challenges through our lives, people that have told us that we might never amount to anything. But we're the only creatures on the planet that can rework our mind with discipline and change of habit. I promise you start listening to these Audible books, I promise you within 12 months, you won't think the same. You won't attract the same. You'll be totally different. And as you change you and you change your thinking and who you are, and you start thinking, I'm worthy of being a diamond. I'm worthy of being a double diamond. I'm worthy of being a triple diamond. If Mel can do it, I can do it. If somebody else can do it, I can do it. And that's exactly true. The difference between the poor and the rich is they don't think the same. You were talking about a book, Stevie, before about the secrets of Think and Grow Rich. And yet, so people read the book looking for the secret, but the secret's in the title. Think and grow rich. Think. It behooves us to think, change the way we think, and bombard your subconscious mind with good information. Have affirmations about who you are, what you want. Put those affirmations in the present tense, but bombard, saturate your mind. That the most valuable 6 inches of real estate in the whole world is between our ears. That's where our world operates. That's where our whole world changes. And so you can have anything you want. Bob Proctor says this, hold it in your mind, hold it in your mind. You can hold it in your hand. Hold it in your mind first, and you can hold it in your hand. Everything is created in the thoughts. Challenge is most people let their thoughts run wild, and they think, well, that's the way my thoughts are. But we have mastery over our thoughts. We control our brain. We control our mind, not the other way around. People just say, well, that's the way I think. I said, no, that's the way you choose to think. You can choose to quash a bad thought. You can choose to quell it, kill it, diminish it, and replace it with a good thought. You are the master of your brain. You are the master of your mind. We control the mind. It doesn't control us unless you allow it. Most people allow it. They think, well, that's the way I've always thought. That doesn't make it right. You can change the way you think by bombarding yourself with good information, by listening, by starting your day with good information, by getting up half an hour earlier and listening to Bob Proctor's abundance meditation, which is what I did you know, for the first 12, 18 months, not every day, but probably 4 or 5 days, mornings a week, over and 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 over, changed my mindset, changed my belief. And gradually I started feeling that I think I can come back now. I think I'm okay. I think maybe I can climb this mountain one more time. And as I started to change my thinking and who I was, I started to notice I was attracting better people. Somewhat miraculously, I should say, in some instances. I won't go through all that this evening, but the type of people that were being drawn to me or that I was enrolling were people that were different from when I started. And I noticed a dramatic change in the way that I was conversing with people. My speak was different. My attitude was different. My resolve, my posture, my confidence, my strength, my belief in a seer, the business, the future, the potential, all started to lift as I lifted my own self-image and my self-worth. And it changed my belief. It changed me dramatically. So work on yourself as much as you work on the business. Most of the books you're going to read are going to teach you this. They're going to teach you about self-development, about self-mastery, about mastering your thinking. Master your thoughts, master your life. Change the way you think, change your life. Think about the future you'd like to have. Think about what your life will be like as a diamond. What will your life be like as a double diamond? What would your life be like if you were making an extra $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month? Because if one person can do it, another person can do it. One of the things I love about Richard Bliss Brooke, and I mentioned this to him on Saturday, was if a chicken boner working for Foster's Farms, earning $3.05 an hour as a chicken boner, if he can go from $3.05 an hour with no background of success anywhere, you couldn't find any success background anywhere. There was nothing. There was nothing to signify he was going to succeed at anything in his life. He'd never had any success. He worked at the chicken plant, boning chickens with 3 of his mad mates, and they sell a bit of pot on the weekend to make ends meet, and they drank probably a lot of beer and probably were carried on like pork chops, and that was kind of it. He was quite happy there. He said, I was kind of happy. He said, I was kind of ambitious, but I didn't know how to deal with that ambition. And then he was invited with a couple of his mad mates to go to this function. And at this function, you know, much like one of our functions, they sat there, the 3 or 4 of them, young bucks in their early 20s, 22, and they'd speaker after speaker said, if you build this business, you can make $60,000 a year. Now that's back in 1977, when 60,000 US is probably 250,000 Australian dollars today. And they didn't really believe that they could do it until the last speaker came on, and he'd been a factory worker. He'd worked in some factory, and his wife had started this part-time thing, and then she started making enough money that he didn't need to go, and the 2 of them started building the business together. And within a few years, they were making 60,000 US dollars a month, traveling the world, a massive organization. And so Richard Bliss Brooke did the same, and by 1982, which is what, 4 or 5 years later, was earning $40,000 a month, 40,000 US dollars a month, which today would probably be worth 150 to 200,000 US dollars a month. Now, here's the point. Any one of you on this call, wherever you're starting from, could not be starting most likely from a position further back than Richard Bliss Brooke. There's nobody probably on this call that's earning $3.05 an hour, well, you wouldn't be. But even if you're working on very basic income, if Richard Bliss Brooke can go from chicken boner to multimillionaire, then I can. And if I can, then you can. That's the whole point. His book is totally inspirational. That's what he did. That's his story. And every one of you on the call can create your own story, but you have to believe it. It takes a process. It wasn't easy for him in the first couple of years because he wasn't following instructions. He was being given the instructions and he wasn't following instructions. And until you get to a point where you're prepared to change and learn, could be a position of desperation. When you've burned all your bridges or your bridges are blown up, I didn't have any bridges to go back. I had no back doors when I started with a CEO. I had no back door to go through, nothing else I could do. I took a job in 2015. This is how low things got for me. I took a job in 2015. I had to make cold calls into the United States selling phone screens. I did that. I started that at 11 o'clock at night, and I finished at 4 or 4:30 in the morning, making $20 an hour or something, $25 an hour. And then I'd stay up and I'd make my boys breakfast and drive them to school. And I was, 60 years old. I had nothing. That was kind of a low point. I didn't like it very much. I didn't like it at all, but I did what I had to do. So when you get to a point where you're forced to change, then it's a good place to be. Let me share this little story with you. This came to me. I recollected this story from a number of years ago. This young boy, this young man, I don't know, 14, 15, asked his grandfather, he said, "Grandfather," he said, "I want to be really successful in my life." He said, "Can you tell me how I can be really successful in my life?" And the grandfather, who was wise, grey hair, probably like me, I don't know if I'm wise, but grey hair, and a grandfather too, he said, "Yeah, sure, I can show you how to become successful." He said, "Terrific." And they lived on the side of the lake. Grandpa lived on the side of the lake, and he said, "Let's hop in the rowboat together." So he hopped on the rowboat, and Grandpa rowed the rowboat right out in the middle of the lake. And he said to his grandson, he said, "Hop over the side." And the grandson said, "What?" He said, "Hop over the side. I want you to hop over the side." So his grandson hopped over the side. And as his grandson came up for air, he pushed him down underneath the water. And he held him down underneath the water for about 15 to 20 seconds. And the grandson came up and gasped for air. And once he got a breath of air, the grandfather pushed him down again and held him down for another 25 to 30 seconds. Once again, the grandson came up and gasped even harder for air the second time. And once again, the grandfather pushed him back down under the water, held his head under the water, only this time for a minute and a quarter maybe. When his grandson came up out of the water, he gasped for air like his life depended on it. And then he brought him back into the boat. And he said, "When you want success as badly as that, you'll have it. You'll have success just like that." And you see, most people want success, but they don't want it badly enough. You know, you have to find something when you build a business like this, you have to find something that you want badly enough. This is emotion. This is all emotion. I was talking to a man on the phone the other day that I'm working with, and I said, "Tell me what you really want." And he said, "Oh, I want to be," the normal things people say. He said, "I want to be financially free." I said, "Why?" "Oh, I want to have enough money to be able to do what I want to do." And I said, "What is that?" He said, I want to be able to go and live." This man's come through a very serious illness, by the way. I won't say any more than this. But he started crying. And he said, "Because I want to go and be with my family. My family lives somewhere else." And he said, I want to have enough money to be able to go and live with them." I said, "There you go. That's your reason. There's the emotion." You know, you and I, when we build a business like this, you have to have an emotional reason stronger than your fears. Everyone on this call, there's now 60 people on this call. I don't know if that includes you and I, Stevie, maybe 62, including you and I. Every one of us here has fear. Every one of us deals with fear all the time. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of what other people think, what they say. We have fears. Only when your dreams are bigger than your fears will you open the pathway to your ultimate success, because you have to deal with the fears. And it's not that when I get on the phone and call people, it's not that the fear is not there. It just doesn't overwhelm me. I know why I'm building a SEER business. So Tony Robbins talks about this. He talks about the balance between dreams and fear. And all the great speakers talk about the same thing. Now, which one will run your life? Well, the answer is, which one are you focused on? If you focus on your dream, if you build a dream and focus on it, think about it, saturate your mind with your emotional dream, then your fear is going to slide away. It's like the story of the two wolves, the fear wolf and the dream wolf. Which one wins? Well, which one are you feeding? What most people do is they throw out some meat for the fear wolf, and they throw out a little bit of meat for the dream wolf, and then more for the fear wolf, and more for the dream wolf, and they vacillate. And it's really hard to have an attitude because if you build a business like that, you'll be inconsistent. And I can tell you this business hates inconsistency. It hates it. It hates people that do it every now and again. It just won't respond to that. One of the nemesis of most people in our industry is lack of consistency. So when you feed your dream, when you feed your dream wolf, you will starve the fear wolf. You'll starve it. So there's the biggest lesson, the dream. Whatever that dream is, it needs to be emotional. It's not going to be a new set of tires for your Volkswagen. It's got to be emotional. For me, it was things like legacy income for my 8 children. For me, it was things like going out feeling like I'd accomplished something. For me, it was being able to give back. For me, it was being able to not have to worry about money again. For me, it was being able to believe that I could come back and climb a mountain again and feel like I was worthy of something again. It was all to do with emotion. You know, my dream when I started really was I thought one day if I could ever reach triple diamond, that would be amazing. I kind of overachieved a little bit, and which I'm grateful for, but it's probably because I just kept moving. I just, you know, keep moving, keep growing, keep working on becoming a better me. And in the process of doing that, the more people I can teach, the more people I can help, coach. And I do this a lot these days. I spend a lot of time coaching, probably because I've been doing it in the business for 27 years. Hopefully I've learned something. I haven't learned everything. I'm not on this call telling I know everything. I'm just trying to share with some of the things that I've watched in me that's kind of helped me over the last few years. And, you know, I'm very grateful for the journey with this company, very grateful for where I am. One of the greatest networkers that I've ever met in my life, who passed away earlier on this year, he would teach us these. He said, here's the 10 most important things that you need to work on when you build a business like this. Number 1 is the dream. Number 2 is the dream. Number 3 is the dream. Number 4 is the dream, all the way through. The dream, your vision, your passion, what it is you want, how you want to feel, how you want to live, what lifestyle you want to create. What are you doing here? What do you want to build an ASEA business for? How big is it going to be? How many lives can you impact? What's the legacy you want to leave for your children, for your grandchildren? This is a legacy income that we're creating. This is a legacy company. You know, long after I'm gone, this will be an income for my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren. You know, 70 years from now, my great-grandkids will be having a glass of champagne somewhere thinking, good on the old boy for setting this up for us. And hopefully it makes their life a little bit easier. And I hope there's some examples and lessons they might have learned. If that gets passed down to them, I hope it does. And if it doesn't, they'll have to learn their own lessons, maybe the hard way, like I did. So this is the most important thing. People often come to me with how questions. I said, well, it's not really a how question. You line up 10 diamonds, they're going to have 10 different ways of climbing the mountain. The real question is why? Why do you want to ascend the mountain? Why are you prepared to climb and not camp somewhere? Why are you prepared to keep challenging yourself? Why are you prepared to keep moving? Why are you prepared to get on the phone? Why are you prepared to make phone calls? I'm still making phone calls today. I'm calling people. I'm calling new personals. I'm still doing that. I've still got bigger goals. I still think I can help more people, be more productive. You know, this is probably my last rodeo, so I want to make it a good one. I want to make it all that I can the time that I've got. Let me just share a few things with you. And this was kind of a talk that I gave a couple of weeks ago when I was in KL, Kuala Lumpur, and I was doing some training up there, and I had 5 things that you might, you know, want to just take down, that I think are 5 significant reasons or things that you want to work on as you go about growing and changing your ASEA organizations. You know, we've got 60 people on the call. I see no reason why it shouldn't be 60 diamonds, every single one of you. As I say that to you, that you can be diamond, just think about where your thoughts went when I said that. Where did your thoughts go? Did they go to, oh, you're not me, I wish. Yeah, but you don't know me. You don't know what I'm dealing with, or you don't know who I am. But I am a firm believer, strong believer, that anyone can change. Anyone can regrow. Anyone can develop the life of their dreams if they follow instructions and they change their mindset and they believe. Every single one of you, I believe that. That's not just a saying. I believe that if you have it in your heart, you've got a dream and you're prepared to change, you're prepared to discipline yourself to listening to the audibles and deal with your own fears by raising your dream bigger than your fears, anybody can go diamond. So of the 5 things that I would share with you, number 1 is I've already mentioned, is your dream. And people say, I haven't got one. They can't find one. I said, well, you better find one. You better look, better think, really think. People don't think, they're too busy, but think. Think about how you want your life to look at the end of 2020. Here we are about to turn the corner. We've just done 2019. You know, did your business grow as fast as you want? Did you grow as much as you want? You know, would you look back on 2019 and say, wow, it's just another year? You know, I spoke to somebody today and I said, I see most people living groundhog years. You know, same year as last year, just the same as the year before, same as 2016, 15, 14. And this is an opportunity to allow you to change it. You won't be a groundhog. You can absolutely change your year. And if you didn't do that in 2019, you can do it in 2020. At some stage, Dexter used to teach us this, there comes a point where you have to perform. Let me say that again. There has to come a point where you have to perform. You have to. And it might as well be now. There has to be a point where you change. There has to be a point when you change your thinking, change your belief, your discipline, your habits. And thinking is a big part of that. Think, what do I want? How do I want my life to be? Bob Proctor teaches this. Create a movie in your mind of how you want your life to be at the end of 2020. What income is coming in? How big can you see your organization? How do you see you? How can you work on you? How can you change your belief? How can you change the way you dress? How can you change the way you look? How can you change the way you think? Recreate, reinvent yourself. Reinvent the person that you want to be, and the group will follow. You watch the group follow. When you change you and your thinking, your resolve, you know, just show you, you know, I used to get taught, show your group a clean pair of heels. Show them your tail lights, Mel. You know, just go, you go. People are going to follow. Some will follow, some won't, but you go. So that's always been my attitude. I'll go. And the ones that are going to follow will follow. The ones that ain't, they ain't. They ain't. That's fine. Some will, and some will. Some are looking for this. Number 2 key is persistence. The nemesis of 95% of people in this industry is lack of consistency. You can get most other things wrong. I don't think I'm particularly good at building organizations, but I'm consistent. I think some of the biggest leaders in ASEA may not be the best networkers in the world. I see some other people I think are, but the ones that are top are very consistent. Trish Schwenkel is probably the best example of consistency I've ever met in my life. Consistent, 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 consistent. Here's a great saying I want to slide in here. When you start having some success, this is a really good saying. I copied this off Terry Latham. I'll keep saying it, and after 3 or 4 times it'll be mine, but until then it's his. You want to think like a millionaire and hustle like a pauper. Think like a millionaire, but hustle like a pauper. That's a great saying. I'm still hustling like a pauper. I have not forgotten 3.5 years ago when I had nothing. I haven't forgotten that. I haven't forgotten it. And I never want to go back there again. And if any of you had a go at, you know, not having anything, you know, people say, Ziegler used to say this, people say money's not important, would lie about other things. I agree. You know, I've had it and I haven't had it. It's better to have it. Gives you more choices. A poor man can't help another poor man. A wealthy man can help lots of people. Poor man can't help another man. Poor man can't help anybody. But a wealthy man, as I said before, my aim is to have hundreds of diamonds in the organization, and then hopefully a quarter of them I can take some of their money and I can go and build lots more houses in Africa. Hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds. Won't make much of a dent, but it'll make a little dent. It'll make a dent for those hundreds of people. Number 2 is persistence. Persistence. And the struggle between the stream and the rock. The stream always wins, not by strength, but by persistence. In the struggle between the stream and the rock, the stream always wins, not by strength, but by persistence. There you go. There's a metaphor for building your ASEA business. Continue the journey. Continue your struggle. The struggle is what makes you strong. People want to avoid the struggle. The struggle is your victory. The struggle is where the money is. The struggle is your growth. No pain, no gain. If you do not struggle, I want all my generals to struggle. I want all my leaders to struggle. I don't want to save them from that. It's defining. It defines who they are, who they become, how strong they are, how they can empathize with other people. I don't want to hear people in my organization, oh, maybe I do. I don't like hearing people get and go diamond in 3 weeks or 5 weeks. I don't know how much of they struggle, but maybe they struggled before. But you know what I'm saying. I want the success in a business like this is the overcoming of the struggle, not the avoidance of it. It's a struggle that makes us strong. It's a struggle that makes us who we are. It's a struggle that makes us better. You know, a diamond is a piece of coal put under pressure. That's what a diamond is. People want to avoid the struggle. They say, well, I can't be going down the wrong track because it's challenging. No, you are going down the right track. It's meant to be challenging. Success is meant to be challenging. It's protected by those that want it. Like the grandson, badly enough to draw breath. And all you have to do is keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep going, keep going, keep going. If your dream's big enough, the facts don't count. You're going to get some no's? Of course you will. Do I get no's? Of course I do. More than most. But it doesn't change my course. I know somebody out there right now is looking for me. Somebody out there right now will be on their knees tonight praying for an opportunity. Right now, they're praying for an opportunity. And I need to find them. What I want wants me. What you want wants you. They're out there, people praying for an opportunity. The fact that some aren't ready doesn't change the fact that I'm looking for the one that is ready right now, looking for this opportunity. Thanks to Virtus for this opportunity. Number 3 is personal development. I've already kind of covered that. I could spend a lot of time on it. I probably already have it. But it's my pet. It's my pet subject is personal development. Every one of you can change. There's a process to that, but every one of you can change. You know, listen an hour a day. Listen 30 minutes to an hour a day, every day, every day. I've got one of my guys, one of my personals that's starting to, got on the audibles a little while ago. He's done some classes with a mindset coach that I use. I'm watching him transform in front of my eyes. In the last 6 weeks, he's a different man already. Number 4 is have a business plan. This is a business. You know, you want to have a plan. You want to have a plan. It's a business. And that means, okay, what rank do I have at the end of March 2020? How many people am I going to take to Envision? Master, this is Envision 2020 is significant. Every single one of you on the call. This is a significant marker to leverage your business. So if you are brand new in the business right now or just getting started or relatively new, and I was working with you, I'd say, okay, let's set you a goal. Let's have a goal to have 5 to 10 new people there personally, 5 to 10 personals there. You might say, well, I'll have 7. It's perfect. 7 new people that personally enrolled, or 7 people that you may not even be enrolled. They're coming for a look, but 7 people that would be personal to you. And having 15 to 20 in the group. You've got all of December, you've got all of January, you've got all of February. You've got 3 months to do that. There's your mission. You put 20 people, 30 people into Envision. 6 weeks after Envision, you get your greatest growth. The fastest growth we're going to see in the whole year, the fastest growth I've seen all year in my business is 6 weeks after Envision. It's always going to happen. It catapults. It jet propels your organization. It's leverage. It's the catapult. You get a catapult, a slingshot effect. Promote, promote, promote. People sitting on the fence. I'm not sure. Come along to the function. I'm not sure. Well, do your due diligence. Come to the function. At the end of the weekend, you'll know. Well, I'm not sure. I'll underwrite the ticket for you. This is the only time that I've said to people, you can make sales. Sell tickets. Get tickets in your hand, buy 2 or 3, turn them over. Go and move them. Go and move them, turn them over, turn them over, turn them over. And I underwrite it to people. So if I said to you, Stevie, you say, oh, I don't think I can afford it or not sure if it's going to be valued. Stevie, you buy the ticket, I'll underwrite it. So what does that mean? If you don't believe at the end of the weekend, you didn't get a significant amount of information and you didn't change your opinion or your mindset and you didn't think this was a huge opportunity and you didn't like the weekend, I will refund your money. I've been saying that now for 20 years. I've never had anybody come to me at the end of a function and say, hey, listen, Mel, I want my money back. Not one. You couldn't come out of one of these functions and have it. I will do whatever I can to promote somebody to get in front of Tyler Norton, the executives and some of the finest leadership in the world of ASEA, some of the ASEA diamonds and triple diamonds like Bart Cotter and Bart and Melissa Cotter, just the finest people. You know, Danny Doyle, Christina Williams, I'll forget, Big Al Fitzgerald, incredible story. You know, to see Big Al go diamond. You know, as you said last year, or this year, Stevie, you wouldn't have backed him. But, you know, I'll back anybody that's prepared to change. I'll back anybody that's prepared to invest in themselves and learn. Anybody can go diamond. And I don't think it's unfair to say that Al wouldn't mind me saying that a lot of people he wouldn't have believed. I don't even think he believed at one stage he could, but he's done it. He's diamond, building a very fine organization. I mean, one of the best contractors I've ever seen in my entire life. I tell people if he had the phone number of the Pope, he'd call him. No fear. Man is fearless. Best communicator and contact I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, have a business plan. How many people are you going to take to Envision? Put numbers on it. It's a business. Have goals. Set goals. Work with your support team. Work with your upline gold or platinum. Somebody's on the pace, moving. Ask them. Get excited about getting numbers there. It'll explode your business. You put 20, 30 people in. 6 weeks later, you'll have 100. When you got 100, you'll have 200. When you have 200, you'll have 300. When you have 300, you'll have 500. When you have 500, you've got 1,000. You go to Envision in 2021 with 500 people or 300 people, I promise you'll be very excited. And your bank balance will be different. Your lifestyle will be different. This is how it starts. It starts with 1, 2, 5, 10, 20. So it's geometric progression. That's how it works. And promotion. The biggest builders always are always the best promoters. Promote, promote, promote nicely. Don't be a nuisance. Don't offend people. I'm not saying that, but be strong with your promotion. And number 5, it's being duplicatable. You know, it's being duplicatable. It's learning what to do with being duplicatable. I just wanted to touch on something quickly, if I may, and then we'll kind of probably wind it up. I've probably covered quite a lot of ground. One of the things I watch people do, when I start somebody with a SEER, I keep it very simple. I don't overload them with information. I don't try and teach them everything that I know. I don't try and send them every webinar, every link. I don't educate them to diamond. I think a lot of people bamboozle people, send them way too much information. They overload them, confuse people. What I do is keep it very simple. I was talking to somebody for Big Al today, and on a 3-way call, and the gentleman said, "What next?" I said, here are your next 2 steps. Number 1, open your account. Big Al can do that for you. It takes 10 or 15 minutes. You can select the pack that you want, and you can do that. That's easy. And Alan will go through that. Number 2, make an immediate list of the 40 most ambitious people you know, and Big Al will get together with you in the next couple of days, and he's going to get on the phone and start contacting these people so we can enroll people into your organization fast, quickly. Now, what I'm doing with him is I'm showing him, teaching him, that's what we do. Build it fast. I don't leave new people to make their phone calls. They get blown out of the water. They don't know what to say. So you work with a script. Most of you have got access to the script that I use. It works. It's a pretty simple script. The $1 million question is, John, Bill, Frank, may I ask you, are you open to looking at other income options? There's a $1 million question. But I move very quickly with people. My aim is to get them to have people underneath them fast, get them a little bit of money fast. 3 things hold people into a business like ours. 1, when people start making money. 2, when they see people coming in, numbers coming in their organization. And 3, relationship. Kind of a relationship with everybody in your business, it'll get too big. You know, you can't do it. You just can't have a relationship with everybody. But you can have a relationship with your leaders. You will know who your leaders are. How do you know who your leaders are? Watch what they do. People often ask, well, how do you know when you find a leader? You won't ask that question when you find a leader. You'll see what they do. They go. They just get on with it. They move fast. They ask questions like, what do I do now? What do I do next? What can I do to make it go faster? Can you help me? Can you do a 3-way? Can you do a meeting? Can you get on the phone? Can you help me? That's what leaders do. They're ready to go. They're ready to move now. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for people that have got the fire and the excitement to move quickly. You know, I don't like building it slowly. My personality, I might have OCD. I don't even know what that is really, but I like it when it's fast growing, moving, happening. I like it like that. I like to make it happen fast and move it quickly. And I think most people also like that. It's like blood, it needs to flow. So does money. Money needs to flow. A SEER business needs to flow quickly, fast. Get a dream. You know, if you're on this call, find a dream, find your burn. Find something that, you know, Denny talks about a why that'll make you cry. You've got to find a why that makes you to cry, that it doesn't matter how many no's you're going to deal with, no problems at all. I'm on to the next phone call, no problems. No problems when they say it's salt water or whatever, no problem. Thank you very much. I'm getting on the phone to find somebody else. No problems at all. If you've got a dream, chase your dream, find it. I think as an organization, we need to teach people to go dream building more. Go out, when was the last time you went and looked through dream houses? When was the last time you went and sat in a car, in a Ferrari? And people say, well, I've never driven a Ferrari. I said, I don't want a Ferrari. So, have you driven one? No. I said, well, how do you know you don't want one if you've never driven one? Go and drive one. Then say, I don't like it. I didn't like the smell of it, didn't like it. Well, go and drive something else. Find out what it is you want. And traveling, and just find out what it is you want, how you want to live your life. You know, build a SEER business. It'll give you the freedom to have the money to enjoy your time and the time to enjoy your money. The life you can have is unbelievable when you build this properly, and it's not that complicated. It is becoming the leader that you want to attract. You know, too many people, they want to find the biggest leaders. Become the leader you want to attract. Become the best version of you. And you won't have to be me. You won't have to be Big Al. Be the best version of you can be, and then you will attract all the right people to you. That's kind of how it works. So I hope that's helped.
Absolutely, it has. That has been absolutely phenomenal. And in fact, all of the questions that I had, you're just the sword master. You've gone right over. You've covered them all. Incredible. So does anybody on the call this evening, if you have any questions or comments, please pop it in the chat box. I know that there was a question about Mal's books, and someone was good enough to list the books there. And I can't give you credit because for some reason I've been trying, but I can't see your name there. In fact, I think you've just got a number, a serial number. But thank you for this. So there's a book list in the chat box there. Now, if I could just get you to confirm the points, because I think I might have missed one. The 5 key points that you went over to be able to build this business, was it number 1, a dream, a why, a reason?
Yeah.
Number 2,
and that would probably be 90% of it.
Right.
But you're right. Yeah, number 1 is the dream.
Yeah, right. 2, persistence. 3, personal development. 4, have a plan. And 5, be duplicatable.
Be duplicatable and learn how to promote.
Be duplicatable and learn how to promote.
Learn how to promote. The best promoters always have the biggest businesses. Somebody just put in the chat box they wanted to come and help build a house, help building a house in Africa. The first house we built, which was completed in June this year, I called the House of a Seer. I've just had this through from my friend in Tanzania. So this is, I don't know if you can see that on screen. Can you see this? Where do I put the camera?
Oh, yes.
Can you read that?
The House of Vertus Norton.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
really
the next
awesome.
one. So we leave in 2 weeks today. I'll be over there finishing the second house off for the next couple. So this next one is called the House of Vertus Norton, and so we've got a lot more to build. So I do want to take a whole bunch of people over there to do what we can over there. I mean, look, there's many very worthwhile charities, very worthwhile contributions, and 2 things that I've learned in the last couple of years that I think might help people. One is gratitude. Be grateful. I give thanks every day for the ASEA business. If you've listened to anything by Dr. Joe Vitale, when he was a homeless man, he's a multi-millionaire now, he had to learn how to be grateful for a pencil that worked. Whatever you've got in your life, you've got be grateful for what you've got. If it's your children, anything, be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful you live in Australia. Be grateful you have an ASEA opportunity. Many people in the world, they haven't got this opportunity. The people in Moivaro village, they have no opportunity. They can't really do much to change their lives. It's very difficult for them to change their life. So number 1 is be grateful, and number 2 is to give. You know, to give. There is a very key principle in giving. You know, if you read, Dr. Joe Vitale's work, any of Dr. Joe Vitale's works, the attractor factor, he talks about just leaving money around. I kind of do that now. When I'm in a hotel room and I'm leaving a hotel room, I normally leave, $20, and he says, just leave money around. It makes you feel like you've got an abundance, and people need to have an abundance mentality as opposed to a poverty mentality. So those are 2 other things, giving and gratitude. Very important lessons, principles.
Okay, that is fantastic.
Are there any other questions in the chat box, Stevie?
No, there've been loads of compliments though about you, Mal.
There's the books in the.
That's right.
Let me just see this list, because they might be missing the 2 that I've kind of changed. Somebody came up to me recently and said, you've changed them, and I said, well, they're moving all the time. So the probably 2 that aren't on there would be the 2 of Richard Bliss Brooks' works. Mac 2 with your hair on fire, and the 4-year career. Anybody who's looking at the business or getting into this industry and is kind of sitting on the fence, not quite sure whether they want to build this. The real question is, he says, when you build a business like this is it worth it? That's the question you've got to ask yourself. Is it worth the time and effort that I've got to put in? Is it worth it? Well, if you thought you were going to make $50 a month, then no, it's not. But what if you knew that in a couple of years you could make $20,000 a month for the rest of your life? Is it worth it? It's worth it. You've got to know that it's worth it. You've got to find a reason, a dream big enough to know that it's worth it. But so somebody that's just, having a look at the business, the industry, I would encourage them to read the 4-year career, or listen on Audible, the 4-year career. You can get through it in an hour and a bit. That'll change their mind absolutely on the business. And he says up front, most people don't make it in a business like this. Everybody can, but most choose not to. It's not the fault of the industry or the business. It's personal responsibility. It's having a reason, lining your ducks up. Do I have a reason big enough to go and do the work? Do I have a reason big enough to deal with the no's that I'm going to have to deal with on the way through to success? Once you get that squared away, and once you get emotionally neutral of people saying no to you, it's not that difficult. Just talk to people, learn how to communicate with people. It's not that difficult.
Fantastic.
All good.
Fantastic.
Well, I hope that's helped. I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's helped 62 people. We expect to see 62 new diamonds in the next 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah, who feels they can go diamond after hearing that? And one thing that I picked up when you were talking, Mel, especially about persistence, about being consistent. Sharon said yes. 500711 says I am diamond. Thanks so much, Mel. Awesome, thank you. Is that everyone on this call is consistent? You're either consistent in not improving, or you're consistent in improving, or you're being consistent in being inconsistent in flipping between the two. So we would just invite you to be consistent in improving. It's the best option out of the three. So why would you choose any of the other? We'll be diamonds from, is it Issy? I'm a diamond now. Who said that? I love that.
So always with your affirmations, always put them in the present tense.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, if you can just give us a little bit more time. I know that we've gone over, but it was a question that I had. Because you've spoken to me many occasions about saturating the subconscious, about bombarding the mind with how you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to wire it. Now, you touched on audiobooks, you touched on meditation, and you even touched on giving thanks, on gratitude. Are there any other daily rituals that or habits that you're building that you are doing? You just mentioned affirmations. That's another one.
Affirmations. I dream build pretty much every day. I'm online, or I'm out looking at things. I keep my mind fueled with the potential of the future in different areas of my life. My life's still not complete. I've still got a lot that I want to do, a lot I want to accomplish. I'm constantly reworking where to from here. So I constantly think about, okay, what now? What next? And a lot of that is it's not just to do with Africa. I mean, I've got other dreams that I want. For many years I've wanted to have a nice boat, and so I'm looking at boats right now, and so I'm online looking at beautiful boats, and I do a lot of dream building every day. I'm on looking at French properties. So I spend time every day doing that, feeding my dream and nurturing my wish list, my bucket list, if you like, but my dreams, the dreams that I have. People say, well, dream building can be kind of painful. Well, it's meant to be. It's meant to stretch us. One of the things I've learned recently, though, which I'm drawing attention to, is that, your goals and your dreams really need to be so out of your reach. You kind of look at them and think, wow, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Well, that means that I need to grow to become the person that can acquire that, if that makes sense. You don't want to set a goal that you can accomplish, or a vision or a dream, because that's not going to grow you. I'll give you a funny story. Many years ago, when one of my other businesses, it was actually in the Amway business, I sat down with a couple and I was asking them, what's your dream? And they said, well, our dream is to go to Disneyland. I said, and they were in their probably 40s. I said, well, you can do that right now, And they kind of looked at me like stunned mullets and, oh yeah, you're right. So off they went to Disneyland and I never saw them again. There needs to be a bigger dream than that. There needs to be a purpose, a mission. But I do that a lot. I'm constantly, feeding my mind with different dreams. I've got huge dreams for Africa, for Moivara. I love it over there. I love the people. I love being over there. I can't wait to get over there again and finish this house off and make a difference. It's just, it's just special to be able to help people that really can't help themselves. And, this is such a blessing. This is such a gift in all of our lives to be able to go and do things. And, many of you probably got other things you want to go to and do things to help other people. But I think that's a big thing too, is being able to, have a heart to help other people. That's a big one. But, most of what I've shared with you this evening is kind of what I do. I don't do it all well. It's not like, it's not like I do everything that well. I don't. It's just that I just keep moving. I just keep moving. I'm not that good at a lot, but I just consistently, do what I can. And look, I've got a new goal of how many personals I want to enroll by the end of next year. I've got a goal. So I feed that into my mind. Okay, there's my goal, and now I'm on it. I've got another personal meeting with somebody tomorrow night that I'm very hopeful about. He used to be in one of my businesses years ago, and a good mate of mine. He's been through some challenges. So when I contacted him a couple of years ago, he was going through divorce. He wasn't in the looking zone, but he's remarried and he's in the looking zone now. So, I kind of graze over people, and I leave the door open with people. I don't trash anybody and say, oh, well, you're no good to me, I'll leave you. No, I keep the door open. If the timing's not right, the journey's long, you see. The journey's long. So, I might be talking to somebody this last week, but they might be my biggest builder in 2 years' time. I don't know. So you just keep the door open for people. Be courteous and respectful to other people. That's a big thing. It's a people business. People move products. Products don't move people. This is a people business. This is about people being the best people you can. Not that I'm perfect. Please don't think that. I'm far from it. But I continue to work on my own transformation. That's what I do. Work on it the best I can. And continue to do that. I'll continue all the rest of my life to do that. I'll never stop. I know that the day that we stop growing is the day we stop going backwards. And I never want to stop growing, because, I'm probably ready to check out. I'm not ready to check out. Not yet. All good. Well, I hope that's helped. I expect a bunch of diamonds to come out of this organization, your organization, and anybody listening. I expect it. It's not that difficult. It really is not that difficult when you just master a few of the basics, your thinking, your habits, your disciplines, and just work on your mindset. As you work your mind, you change your mind, you will find that people will gravitate to you. They'll magnetize remember this statement: what you want wants you. In the universe, what you're wanting is also wanting you. Think about what you want, and it's going to be attracted to you. It's kind of how it works.
Yeah. So, look, you're an extremely busy man. So I know that we have to let you go because you're helping a lot of people. But I think a certain way for us to become diamond is not only to take everything we can from this call, but maybe have you back at a future date that suits you, Mal, and everyone bring more of their team on.
I'm hoping we can have Richard Bliss Brooke. I mean, he's really worth listening to. He's incredible, and 40 years of wisdom, 40 years of experience, great teacher. He invited me to go to a course that he's going to do, a leadership training course, and he said, pick 9 of your top leaders and come and do a 3-day course, which I would have done, but it coincides with when we're going to Dubrovnik. A bunch of us are going to Dubrovnik. We've rented some yachts ahead of the Dubrovnik trip, and so it coincides with that. But I just emailed his PA today. We're going to try and set up a call for this Thursday or Friday, and I'll ask him to do a leadership training call, hopefully before I go to Tanzania, before I go, and we'll get everybody on that. And it would be great to have him on and share his wisdom and 40 years of experience. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to be able to pull that off before I go to Tanzania. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm ever optimistic. As I said to him, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm going to ask, and I did. So hopefully he'll do that for us. So, but anyway, all the best. If I don't catch up with all of you before Christmas, I hope you have a great Christmas and use this time to really think, where to from here, and where to for 2020, and where would you like to be this time next year, and every single one of you have everything in you need. Just got to get rid of the old, mean wolf that sits on your shoulder and telling you, rubbish. Just get rid of it. It doesn't serve you anymore. Let go. Get rid of that, and create a new wolf, a dream wolf, and build the life of your dreams. So thank you, Stevie, for hosting this. Thank you very much for having me. And as we say in the classics, I'll see you around like a rissole. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, everyone. Good night. And again,
thank you, Stevie, for hosting it. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. I hope it's been helpful for people. Thank you very much.
A million thanks to you, Mel. It's obvious why you're in the $1 Million Earners Club. So we really appreciate you. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good night, everyone.
Merry Christmas if we don't see you before. Bye-bye.